will now begin the ceremony, the lighting of the lamps by Khenpo and Bhante. So welcome everybody. Permission of the Mahasangha and His Excellency the Ambassador. Really, sir, you are the model ambassador. I get very emotional.
I don't think
that.
so.
And when it comes to the Sangha, you are so humble, and we thank you for having us for the second time. His Excellency has hosted us, and it is so wonderful of him. I cannot, as I said, stop praising him. But with that having been said, let us begin with the proceedings of today's event. And I now request our Senior Vice President, Dr. Thun, to request the 5 precepts from the Mahasangha.
Satmayang Hante, Visum Rakanataya, Saramaya, Sahaja Sailam, Yajamya, Yam Petmayang Hante, Visum Rakanataya, Saramaya, Sahaja Sailam, Yajamya, Yam Petmayang Hante, Visum Rakanataya. Saramenya saha panca sailan yajamya anugehang katwa sailan te takno nante
Yamahang vadami tang vadeta
nante
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa
Namo tassa bhagavato Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa
Buddhaṃ saranang gacchāmi dhammāṃ saranang gacchāmi saṅghāṃ saranang gacchāmi Dutiyampi Buddhaṃ saranang gacchāmi Dutiyampi Dhammāṃ saranang gacchāmi Dutiyampi Saṅghāṃ saranang gacchāmi
Dutiyampi Buddhaṃ saranang gacchāmi Dutiyampi Dhammāṃ saranang gacchāmi Dutiyampi Saṅghāṃ saranang gacchāmi
Tatiyampi Buddhaṃ saranang gacchāmi Tatiyampi Dhammāṃ saranang gacchāmi Tatiyampi Saṅghāṃ saranang gacchāmi
Tatiyampi Buddhaṃ saranang gacchāmi Tatiyampi Dhammāṃ saranang gacchāmi Tatiyampi Saṅghāṃ
Amahan Sampunnang Panatipata Veramani Sikkhapadan Samadhiyami Adinnādāna Veramani Sikkhapadan Samadhiyami Kāmesu Micchāchārā Veramani Sikkhapadan Samadhiyami Musāvādā Veramani Sikkhapadan Samadhiyami Surāmeraya Majjapamā Daṭṭhāna Veramani Sikkhapadan Samadhiyami Nisaranena Saddhim Panchasīlaṃ Dhammaṃ Sādhukaṃ Surakkhitāṃ Kattvā Apamādena Sampādeta Sīlena Sugatiṃ Yanti Sīlena Bhoga Sampada Sīlena Nibbutiṃ Yanti Tasmā Sīlaṃ Visodhaye
I now request Ken Ho to do a brief Tibetan chant.
Sanjay Jodan Swaje Jonalai Chancho Pado Dane Jasoje Taje Jasoje Vesonanje Dolan Peje Sanjay Drobai Joy Mai Nanga Danyambe Sanjay Danje Dewa Dandeve Jodan Dembai Joje Dunga Dunga Je Jodan Dewa Dunga Membe Dewa Dame Dewa Joje Nire Jodan Nindan Dewa Tanyola Neba Joje Mombo Doje Jendemba Taje Jembe Damba Suna Yende Jaso Jete Jela Jata Lo Taban Deja Dewa Joje Nyaso Leto Chedo Danda Jojo Baji Jojola Jata Lo Dona Joe Lai Labadala Rabdo Goshinje Damba Yende Jende Layan Jate Lo
Now, as mandated by our chairman, the Venerable Dr. Tanat Intisan, who could not be here this evening or afternoon rather, we are required to do at least a minimum of 5 minutes of meditation before every Dhamma study circle, and our chairman, vice chairman, Bhante Uparatma, will lead the 5-minute loving kindness meditation. Bhante, we request you.
This is the important day, Vaisakha Purnima, Vaisak, Buddha's birth, enlightenment and passing away. We are offering for the Buddha Amisa Puja, Pratipatti Puja, our moral discipline and our meditation. In order to respect to the Buddha, we are doing for the name of the Vesak day. Day after tomorrow, actually tomorrow is a Purnima day, and we are respecting Buddha Dhamma Sangha. We are keeping little meditation, the loving kindness thought, right after ringing the bell. Stay mindfully, close your eyes in the moment. Imagine here to toes entire body, relax your muscles, relax your body, relax your mind. Stay the present moment, concentrate your mind. This way I'm going to reciting some loving kindness thought. Keep present moment with your that thought. Relax your body, relax your mind. Name of the Buddha. May we be well, happy and peaceful. May no harm come to us. May no difficulties come to us. May no problems come to us. May we always meet with success. May we also have patience, courage, understanding and determination to meet and overcome inevitable difficulties, problems and failures in life. May our parents be well, happy and peaceful. May no harm come to them. May no difficulties come to them. May no problems come to them. May they always meet with success. May they also have patience, courage, understanding and determination to meet and overcome inevitable difficulties, problems and failures in life. May our teachers be well, happy and peaceful. May no harm come to them. May no difficulties come to them. May no problems come to them. May they always meet with success. May they also have patience, courage, understanding and determination to meet and overcome inevitable difficulties, problems and failures in life. May our relatives be well, happy and peaceful. May no harm come to them. May no difficulties come to them. May no problems come to them. May they always meet with success. May they also have patience, courage, understanding and determination to meet and overcome inevitable difficulties, problems and failures in life. May indifferent persons be well, happy and peaceful. May no harm come to them. May no difficulties come to them. May no problems come to them. May they always meet with success. May they also have patience, courage, understanding and determination to meet and overcome inevitable difficulties, problems and failures in life. May our friends be well, happy and peaceful. May no harm come to them. May no difficulties come to them. May no problems come to them. May they always meet with success. May they also have patience, courage, understanding and determination to meet and overcome inevitable difficulties, problems and failures in life. May our enemies be well, happy and peaceful. May no harm come to them. May no difficulties come to them. May no problems come to them. May they always meet with success. May they also have patience, courage, understanding and determination to meet and overcome inevitable difficulties, problems and failures. May all living beings be well, happy and peaceful. May no harm come to them. May no difficulties come to them. May no problems come to them. May they always meet with success. May they also have patience, courage, understanding and determination to meet and overcome inevitable difficulties, problems and failures. Stay few seconds with your silent mind. Mindfully stay this moment. Dukkha pataca nidukkha bhaya pataca nibbhaya soka pataca nisoka hontu sabbepi paninu sappitiyo vivajjantu sabrogo vinasatu mate bhavatvantarayo sukhi diga yuko bhava. Thank you.
thank you, Bhante. The nobility of our Buddha Dharma was expressed by Bhante in such beautiful words of our loving kindness meditation. With that, our next phase, before we do that, I'd like to briefly introduce all of the Mahasangha as well as our officers of the IBAA to everybody present here. Vice Chairman Bhante Goparatna, Khenpo Sudrin, who came all the way from Frederick, and so deeply thankful to him. He's our Vajrayana Acharya of the IBAA. Bhante, Dr. Sagaragana, who is going to give the second Dharma talk, and Venerable Atisukama, both from the Chinese Buddhist temple. We have also our Senior Vice President, Dr. Savantun, our General Secretary, Mr. Manapol, Ms. Mint from Advisory Council, and actually our liaison to the Burmese, Ms. Mon, who is now our newly elected Board of Directors, and all the friends who are present here from all. We thank David for taking, and Matt, of course, who walked in, our dual role of IBC Secretary as well as Deputy Secretary of the IBAA, and also Mr. Stefanito for having brought Khenpo from so far away. Thank you. With that, Khenpo, we request you to first give our first Dhamma talk. Thank you.
First, I want to say thank you to Myanmar's Minister and all the faculty that gave us a chance to meet and share our thoughts. Actually, some people ask me, I'm Tibetan, so some people ask me, maybe your language is more closer to the China. Actually, none of one word we use the same language in Chinese and Tibetan. But a few words we have a similar word with the Burmese, actually, because one side of Tibet and now it's called Myanmar and Burma is the same kind of border. And I heard some Tibetan scholars said we using some word are really same, like salt we call the cha. I heard the Burman called the cha, and few words there similar to that. So one way is that one, and so that reason this is my first time to meeting with the actually close our neighbor. So thank you so much. Mainly Professor Harbour, he always put effort to try to bring this together. I also use him, name him as a second, now I forget the Sri Lankan, what call this? Dharmapala. One who really a lay person but a hard work for that for the Buddhist society, and he found all the holy side of India. So he is also similarly doing that one. So we should appreciate that one, because people sometimes when people who work that kind of what called behind the scene, and nobody noticed that one, and sometimes we forget that one, and this is not so nice. And the second is before talk the Dharma, reason I was in Indonesia. Indonesia was one of the biggest Buddhist, especially Mahayana country, but now it's actually like 400-500 years ago, it's started to become Muslim. Now it's a Muslim nation, but there are lots of holy sites, and they really want to renovate and restore them, but they don't have money. So my request is all the Buddhist nation. I think if you can build a small temple on those holy sites, is better than in your country try to build a huge one, because in your country it's already established in the Buddhism. Doesn't matter you have a temple or not, people would respect for that, that what kind of temple you have, doesn't matter. But if you can build those kind of holy site where nobody really noticing, everything is ruined completely, I think it's so much meaningful for the future Buddhist established here. So that is what I just want to talk, because there are like lots of, especially in Golden Island in Indonesia, there's so many temples. Some are like look like Naneda and Vikamashila, and I mean Naneda and those what called Varanasi, those Rogan temple, and some area completely buried, and just a few stones can find on the ground. But if you dig there, so many monuments, I think we can find those places. But I heard one place the government bought the land, but they don't have money to do anything, so they just kept the land. So that is what I want to share. I think in the future, if somebody really have fundraise money and anything, anywhere, skill, especially if you, today we are in the embassy, so if government to government talk, I think this is much better than person, individual try to do that one, or organization try to do that one. So that's my request. Now, I'm really lazy to prepare anything. So I don't have any paper or anything to share you. Whatever thought comes in my small brain, I will share with that too. But most of you are already Buddhist, and doesn't matter which tradition you follow me, we are all following the same path. Different route number, I'm sure some of you drove for different route number when you get here, but everyone will got here. So our distance is the same, but we're using different route. So same thing is a different number of the route. That's a significant of a different language, different culture, different background, different way to practice Dharma, but the Dharma is the same. So Buddha taught. That one is we translated different language and people try to follow. And sometimes you may see the Buddha statue is a little bit different, like Chinese Buddha is a little bit more choppier than some like East Asian Buddhists, like South Asian Buddhists, are more skinner. So that's, I think, background of the people, how look they are. So otherwise, Buddha is the same one. Chinese choppy Buddha is not a cousin of the Sri Lankan Buddha. It's a one Buddha. That's art is made different. So that is that reason we all come from the one root family. I always said this one. Dharma family are actually deeper than your this life's relative, because this life's relative is a one life long. When you die, your relative is gone. Nobody will come with you, and nothing have to do with you. But the Dharma is a one life, not a one lifetime. Dharma is a many lifetimes. We always say from here until we reach to the Buddhahood, we are sharing same path. We are supporting each other. Sometimes maybe someone of you become a teacher, we become a student. Sometimes we become a teacher, you become a student. That way too, we went to life after life to and reach to the Buddha. Of course, it's not going to be easy. Shakyamuni Buddha took 3 years to become what he is now. It's not like an easy path. But everyone have a what called this foundation. Everyone have this capacity to become a Buddha. That is the beauty part of the Buddhism. Other religion, they don't know exactly what happened after they get to the heaven. Actually, they don't know what's going to happen after they born to the hell. But Buddhism have every detail. If you born to the hell, what is the solution? When you reach to the heaven, what you become. There's every detail. You have all the made, detailed, complete instruction. Only Buddhism can give you. That the reason is we all have a chance to can become a Buddha. But becoming a Buddha is not free, free ride. Everything costs. So that reason, in the Buddhism, we always use as a be mindfulness. Everyone said that. One of the Tibetan masters said, mindfulness is the only way or highway to Buddhahood. From the beginning to you join to the Buddhist path until you reach to the Buddhahood, you need mindfulness, and Buddha is the mindfulness. Final realization of the mindfulness is Buddha. In Hindi said, Jagni ka naam hai Buddha. When you awake, that is the Buddha. The awakening is the mindfulness. So that reason, everything from the beginning, foundation to until we reach to the Buddhahood, we have to rely on the mindfulness. That means you are your own Lord. You are your own Savior. Nobody can give you liberation. Nobody can make you enlightenment except yourself. Even Buddha himself come today here, he only can give you the blessing and some teachings. He gave you the guide, how to get to the enlightenment. But he cannot make you enlightenment. If he can make enlightenment, I think he will make first enlightenment, say, Ananda. Ananda was the closest to him. But Ananda, when Buddha passed away, Ananda didn't reach enlightenment. Really, Ananda was the one of the, from the 500 missing one Arhat was the Ananda. When Buddha died, Ananda wasn't Arhat. Mahakashyapa skillfully kicked him out from the community. Then somehow he really missed Buddha, and he lost all his arrogance or pride. Then he became actually Arhat. Then he joined back to the Sangha community. So that reason, even Buddha himself comes, he cannot give us this liberation. Because long as you hold, there's called the resentment, there's called the afflicted emotion. So long as you hold, nobody can remove from you. Your anger, for example, you have an anger issue. You go to see the psychiatrist. You go to see the psychiatrist. They give you some method how to avoid, or sometimes they give you medicine. But they cannot cure you from that problem. Nobody can do that one. So only you can do that. So that reason, whatever we do, activities, action, we call it action. Whatever we do, three things are really important in our life. Whatever we do, three things. In the Buddhism, we call the three virtues. Virtue as a beginning, virtue as a middle, virtue as an end. Virtue as a beginning means that you have to know why you want to do that. Your reason, motivation. Motivation is the really powerful. I think pretty much every Buddhism said, in the Tibetan we said, mind is like a king. Body and speech are servants. Whatever mind wants, body and speech do that. When your mind is angry, body and speech show that disturbed attitude. When your mind is happy, body and speech show so peaceful, loving kindness attitude. When your mind is really angry, even you try to smile, you couldn't. Yeah, everything becomes negative. You live with a negative emotion from home. Even somebody said good morning, you get irritated. You get upset. Why he's saying good morning? I'm really bad mood, So you not really be happy. Even somebody is really nice to you. But when you go to with a happy thought, even somebody really kind of like a negative way to approach you, but still you're not going to get upset. So mind is really powerful. That way you always be mindful as well. Why are you doing this one? Especially human beings. I think scientists always discover now, so humans have a biggest brain, than animals. Animals' thought is not less long. Animals, they're not that deep as a human being. Humans sometimes with our resentment or angry or whatever thought stay a long time and go to so deep. So first is we always try to work with our emotion, try to work with our motivation. Even you do, sometimes even you do the Dharma activities, if you do wrong reasons, it becomes negative. In Tibet, we have one story. One monk lived on the mountain cape, and one day he heard that the local people want to come visit him. So that morning he wake up and he cleaned all his shrine, prepared really nice. Then he sit down and he reflect why he did this all action, effort. Then he realized that he did the wrong reason. His cleaning is not really cleaning the shrine. He's cleaning his what called this? Pride, and so he want to show up. So that reason he realized whatever he did, all those the morning's effort is a mistake. So he went out, pick up handful of dust, throw on the shrine, and he sit down. The reason is this way. When he was cleaning shrine, he is polluting his own mind with a negative emotion. But when he throw the dust on the shrine, then he cleaned his mind. So later, when Indian master came to Tibet, around that time, then he heard about this one, and he said in Tibet, one of the best offering was that this monk's handful of dust. I'm sure you may not go to agree, throwing dust on the Buddha is not so nice. But when it comes to the reality, is it better than polluting your own mind? Because when your mind is really polluted, this is like you have a child go to steal out money from somewhere and treat your restaurant really nice one. You're not going to be happy from that food, because you know that he or she made mistake. That was wrong, stealing. You're not going to enjoy that food. Same thing is, our mind is polluted. Buddha never going to enjoy with that. No matter what we do, it's becoming negative. So one reason is that one. Two reason is that there are lots of action, daily base. We do lots of activities. Those activities are not really necessarily be negative or not necessarily positive. But based on the motivation, it change. One example, eating food. We eat like every day, part of our sustaining our life. But what reason you are eating? One person is eating for the help of other beings, and one person is eating for his or her own gain, pleasure, or become a strength to harm other beings. So eating action is the same, but reason is different. So A person's eating is becoming positive or virtuous, B person's eating is becoming negative. Same thing as walking. Walking is just action, neutral action. It's not negative, it's not positive. But what reason you are walking? So there are so many daily activities. Actually, His Holiness Dalai Lama said this one. If you do with a good motivation, your daily job is becoming part of the practice. In the Mahayana tradition, called the practice of the six paramita. Your job is to become a practice of the six paramita. In the Mahayana, there is no other than six paramita for practice. That is the main practice. So you giving your time, you giving your skill, you giving your knowledge, you giving your effort. It's the generosity. When you work with a good heart, you never cheat other, you never trick other, you never do bad things. That's the ethic. Yeah. Then and you will tolerate any hardship, no matter how difficult it is. You will do happily. You will do without regret. So that is the patience. then you get joy from your work. That's called the perseverance. So then one day you can say actually happy Monday. So far people always say happy Friday. They get the Saturday and Sunday off, so they become so happy that they don't have to work. If you do with the motivation of kindness, compassion, it makes you really joyful your work. Really. So then you get, you get 2 in 1. You get paycheck and you get married. Really. Both can come. So then you don't need to go to retreat. You are in the retreat with a good paying. Really. So that reason, anything, unless you make a weapon or something, then maybe it's difficult. You cannot say, oh, I want to help other sentient beings that way I want to make this weapon. I don't think so it will work. And other than that, the rest of most of our job is related to the actually directly or indirectly helping other beings. So all of those work will become a positive, meritocracy. So that reason say the mind is really like key, powerful. Make sure you have good motivation. Always start with good motivation. But if you're doing wrong reason, stop that. Because when you do wrong reason, even if it's like look like it's meritocracy, it bring you the deeper in the samsara. You play more root of the samsara. Why? What is the root of samsara? So root of the samsara is the attachment and aversion. When you do with a negative emotion, when you do with a negative concept, you only build your afflictive emotion of anger or attachment. And it never ends the cycle of the existence of samsara. So now here, earlier I mentioned, like a psychiatrist, they cannot help you because they cannot find the root source problem. Or everyone, we have a problem. Some of us can figure out what is the problem, where come from the problem. That way they figure out how to solve the problem. Some of us, we don't know what is the problem, where it actually come from the problem. That way we don't have solution. So that reason, always I think we have to start with the motivation of kindness, compassion, bodhicitta or whatever. But one thing is commonly motivation is called the renunciation. I want to be liberated. I want to become Buddhahood. I think pretty much every Buddhism take refuge to the three jewels, yeah? Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha. Buddha Sharanam Gacchami, Dhamma Sharanam Gacchami. But what concept you take the refuge? That's different. Lots of time we take refuge to the three jewels as a concept of the three jewels are our handyman. Actually asking them to come to help me. I have this problem. Solve my problem. You don't want to leave from here. You say this is a problem. I don't want this problem. Please let free my problem. Is this like staying in the Arizona desert, sun really hot, saying this is too hot. Please help me from. If it's too hot, then move away from that. Don't call the Buddha to come to help you here. Go to the Buddha. That's what is refuge mean. Lots of time we take refuge concept of, oh, Buddha come here, Dhamma come here, Sangha come here, help me. That is not really a right way to take refuge of the Buddhism. If you take refuge that way, then you don't have that motivation of renunciation. You don't want to leave your problem. You just want to be, you don't want to leave your source of problem. You don't want to leave your environment of the problem. You just want to be no problem. It's impossible. If you don't like cold, move to the Florida or Arizona. Don't try to make your own place. Don't hope that it becoming hot like Arizona. Yeah. If you don't like it hot, don't stay there. Just move to the, like Minnesota or somewhere cooler place. Yeah. I think that is how, what does refuge mean? When we take in refuge, Buddha Sharanam Gacchami, it's a have to go there to take that protection. So that is what is the motivation mean. So I think because many times in the Buddhism, we always say that wisdom is important. Yeah? Wisdom is really important. But wisdom, lack of motivation, it can become dangerous. Wisdom can become a both way. Wisdom can become really good for the society. Wisdom can become really bad for the society. Wisdom can be good for you. Wisdom can be really bad for you. People who do bad things, they are really smart. None of them are stupid. Stupid one cannot do good or bad both. Really. You know, some people do really bad things and they are really smart, skillfully can do those all. And some people can do really wonderful things also skillfully. Both need wisdom. But becoming good or bad is based on what kind of motivation you have, what kind of mindset you have. You're good thought, kind, compassionate one, or evil, selfish, self-centered, and greedy one. So this reason, lots of people talking about the environment. Yeah, lots of people talking about the climate change. I said, yeah. I think you should change your own mind first. When your mind changes, everything will change. Because directly or indirectly, all those problems are created by the human. Human's mind is much bigger, so our breathing is also bigger. So Buddha said, this human body is the both way. You create the enlightenment can make from this human body, also you can make the deeper in the hell by this human body than anyone else. Because humans are much smarter, much deeper thought. So that thought is used for the wrong way and it becomes really negative. So that is I always think this way. So when people talk about the climate change or environment, first I think you make your own mind is organic. Your mind is make the green, positive. Then everything can become a change. We have one. I'm in the mind and I have that one too. There's a four animals story. Elephant, monkey, rabbit, and bird. Yes. So when they took the 5%, those animals, then they shared to their whole community, the 5%. Whole kingdom becomes so peaceful, and weather is good, and all the food is growing so good. And king thought this is his merit, and one enlightened being said, it's nothing have to do with your merit. This is everything have to do with those animals. They took the precepts. We have one story that's somehow, I don't know where it actually come from, that story. So that is showing us why do we keep ourselves a pure, kind, compassionate thought as what Buddha taught? Everything can be changed. Environment. Then you don't need to spend so much money later after they destroy it. First, don't destroy it. Yeah? What we do is first we destroyed everything, then said we need to fix this problem. They need lots of money. So if you're not destroyed, you don't need to fundraise any money. So that reason, all the destroying things come from the greed, selfishness. Really. So I think that reason we always watch our own mind, because we said enemy. Yeah. Who is the worst enemy for us? It's our emotion. Because rest of enemy you name as an enemy, whatever, people you don't like, you can avoid from them. If you don't like them, you go away, you know, or you close your door, or maybe you change your neighborhood, or you get divorced. I mean, somehow you can separate from that. It's much easier. But you cannot separate from your own emotion. No matter where you go, it comes with you. You know, that is one of the worst enemies. The outside cannot harm much as an inside one. So that reason, Buddha always said, concentrate on the mind. In the Tibetan Buddhism, we change the root, translate the name as a Namba. Namba means the inside. Because in India, there's a majorly kind of like a, you can say, 3 religions. One is called Jainism, yeah? Jainism, they focus so much on the ethic. The discipline, really physically. They really focus on that. I heard even in the forest, if somebody not give them water, they don't drink the water because it's become a stealing from the nature. So they really disciplined with the moral ethic. Then last Hindu, they chant so much mantras, day and night. Some of our monastery in India, there's one Hindu sadhu. He's wonderful. Sometimes he stay overnight chanting, whole night. We can hear. He lives like maybe 1-2 miles away, but we can hear night, all night chanting. For them, chanting is speech is really important for the recite the mantra. But Buddhism mind, that we call the insider. Most important is mind for us. So that reason, from every action you want to do, always reflect your mind to why you want to do. Make sense? Reason, motivation. Is good or not? So that is what is the first mindfulness. Then virtue as a middle is whenever you do with awareness. You know? So awareness means make sure anything not become a source of suffering. And also we have to think about the long-term suffering. The short term, sometimes it gives you suffering, but it's becoming what called the source of liberation. Like Buddha did 6 years ascetic retreat. You know, almost like death. Because he did that way, he became a Buddha. It's not easy. You know, but that give you, like I think you do your tradition too. We have some retreat, some retreat. You have to do prostration, chanting, and you're not allowed to eat and drink. We have sometimes some kind of retreat, and but during that time it's really difficult because you have to chant and you have to do prostration. Even you're not allowed to drink water whole day. It's really difficult, but once you're done, it gives you so joy. You know, so that reason, virtue as a middle, you see, every day, end of the day, anything you do, you have done, end of the day, whatever you have done, it gives you that joy, that means your day is becoming meaningful. If that action is giving you the regret, that means you may waste your day. Make sense? So, end of the day, what kind of result giving you? What kind of emotion giving you from this action? In the Tibetan, we said, good person or bad person is you see when that person is dying. That's the same as the end of the day, your feeling is show as when you're dying, end of the life, you show that you're feeling about sad or joy. If you have a good life, you will go to peacefully, joyfully there. Yeah? If you have done all the bad things, then when you die, you regret. Your life is completely wasted. So that is based on the result. What kind of result give you that action is marked as a good or bad. Otherwise, some action is give you really great joy, like smoker. When you're smoking, at that moment it give you joy. People who drink alcohol. When you're drinking, at that moment it give you joy. But when you do that one, it destroys your own body. And it brings you lots of problems. After that, not just only your body, it's destroy your family, destroy your work, and many things. So that reason, there's this, I think, related to the moral ethic. So now, moral ethic, I think we can divide it into two. Some people believe for the religion or dharma, whatever, any religion, that person, you have to follow on the base on your own religion to moral ethic, and of course in the Buddhism, Buddha taught us what is the moral ethic. Basically what we use as a 5 precepts commonly. But some people don't believe the religion. They don't have it. So that is called, I think it's called the secular ethic. Yeah? You need that. You have to be a reasonable person. One of the Indian master said, when you be good human being, then you can become close to the divine. When you reach to the divine, nirvana is not far. So how to become a good human being is being righteous, being ethical, being secular ethic. Yeah, can say moral ethic or secular.
Secular.
Yeah, secular ethic. So that is I think that reason we have to live our day life. Doesn't matter which form you wear a robe or you not wear a robe. One of my teachers said, robe have no magic power. Robe cannot make you liberation. Robe is only symbolize. Yeah? You wearing American flag here not make you American citizen. Make sense? You have to become a citizen. Same thing as you wearing Dharma robe, it is not necessarily you are on the path of the Buddhahood. It's not necessary. Doesn't matter you wear a robe or not. Robe is just symbolize. This is only help you to mindfulness. When you someone see, they always recognize, oh, this is ordained. When you see your own robe, then say, I have to be careful with them because I'm wearing robe. Only that much is make you. Otherwise, a robe not going to give you any magic power. I'm talking too long. Sorry. I think I have problem with this. So then I want to conclude with a virtue as a end or final. I said, end of the day, and go back to, my teacher always says that, go back to your place and reflect what you have done. If you have done something good, give reward, maybe give some good chocolate, or good ice cream or something, maybe extra dessert. And if you have done all bad things, waste your life and a whole day, give a punishment, maybe skipping from dinner. The monks always skips on something else. You should give something else. So really, it will really help. So you can be your own teacher by doing that work. So this is what from the morning, wake up, always make promise to, I'm going to be a good person. I'm going to be a kind one. I want to be positive. When you wake up, just make yourself promise that one. Then the whole the day, you just remember mindfulness of what you're doing your daily, what is your body doing, what is your speech doing. Because speech is included the chatting, messaging. Whenever doing messaging, make sure don't wasting your time with idle talk or don't try to disturb others' emotion by saying a nasty text message or what called those social message. Some people like doing those things, what called it, street. So, and that is what is mindfulness mean, the body, speech, mind, always constantly reflect what is your body doing, what is your mind doing, what is your speech doing. At the end of the day, and if you did a good job, give reward. If you did bad job, give punishment from yourself. So that is really helpful for you. From the beginning, maybe you get more punishment. Maybe you have to skip lots of dinners. I promise you, and when you do this continually, later you never need to skip dinner. Really, you will change. That's called the meditation in the Buddhism. Meditation is not just close eyes and just not thinking. Meditation have to be active. Yeah? Okay, I'm sorry, so I take too long.
Sadhu.
Thank you, Kenpo, for your kind Dharma talk. Bhante, Dr. Sagarona, is your request. You need device.
Yeah.
You have a whole. You need a laptop or?
I have my laptop.
Yes.
If I have access to that,
Yeah, they will arrange.
with the HDMI cable.
Is there any embassy personnel?
Yes, we have.
Recognize Venerable Cat from the Lao community to have joined us. Thank you, Venerable.
He's my favorite Theravada monk. Really like it. You're the second.
Parking is the reason he's late. I mean, we were late already, but finding the parking place is making it worse.
While we're waiting for the setup, I have a few comments about Campbell's calendar. It has been several occasions that I met with Campbell delivering talks. Whenever he's done, it's always two mixed feelings inside of me. On the one hand, I'm in awe. I wish I could be talking like that. But on the other hand, there's an agony in me. Gosh, what else do I have to say? It's all been covered. But still, you have the program. So let me just finish up what I have to say. Done?
The best one is us.
Oh, I have to see the side. Yeah.
PC component logo. PC computer.
พี่ลาพี่รู้สิว่าไอ้ไก่
Well, earlier, I had a short conversation with Campbell. We were talking about using the PowerPoint. He said it should become handy. But then my perception is precisely for seeing things like this. You have to count on it, but it's not working for you.
在选的那天刚好是3点看到，但如果3点半看到的话，就是5点半。那个就是 parking fee， 那个就。你为了要去找不到地方停的。
Computer said not that
We can't.
Yeah, but I just there.
看到地铁我拿起来我付。
No, I think
他会加那个，然后我把它拿起来我去付。地铁没有电的。
yeah,
Okay. All right. So. Okay, we'll use the good old-fashioned way. Okay, I'll look at my notes, and then whenever it's necessary, we use body gesture. Okay, so today my topic talks about streams in the Pali Canon, Sota. Now, as you know, throughout the Pali Canon, the Buddha mostly was preaching for lay followers. And he wasn't talking about liberation, wasn't talking about nirvana. Instead, most of the time he was encouraging the lay followers to do several things. Expand your land, increase your wealth, know yourself better. All these so-called mountain sentiments. For those who are really inspired to improve their spiritual development, there are other instructions. And when you come to this point, the most prevalent, commonly mentioned example in Pali Canon would be the so-called 4 sages who have achieved breakthrough in their spiritual development. So-called Stream Enterer, there you go.
it works.
Stream Enterer, the One Returner, the Non-Returner, and the Arahant. Now, I'm not going to give you a Abhidharmic analysis about this sutta and how those 4 sages achieved their breakthrough. Rather, as you see the subtitle, my idea today is that first notion, as Campbell just indicated very clearly, your life reality really hinges on how you apply your perception onto that reality. And this is very important. Oftentimes we think we have the right idea of Dhamma. But when you're actually using it, it's not necessarily so. So that would be my starting point. Our perception about stream, those 4 sages, all of them have in common is that they have either starting to cross the stream or have reached the other bank of the stream. So the whole Pali Canon hinges on this particular stream, which essentially refers to samsara. How do you get across? Do you have the right idea? Do you have the right way of applying onto your life? So the notion. But then to avoid making the whole talk too dry, I also have a big interesting story about There are other people who approach the same notion of getting the stream with different approaches, and you may not approve of it. Who's right? Who's wrong? Think it over. Okay? First, I have mentioned that stream in the Pali Canon refers to samsara. Let's take it as a primordial. Now, of course, you know there's nothing in Buddhism can be considered primordial, meaning they exist without other conditions. But for discussion purposes, suppose we can cut one segment of the samsara so that we can discuss it. We take the samsara as primordial. It starts from a state that you are really in a state of either unconscious or only later on in a subconscious state, wherein the great driving force making doing this and doing that, you are not clearly aware of, but it's already there. You may have carried it over from your previous life. You may have been socialized in such a way in your early childhood without your knowing it. Okay? Either way, it's something like we call it subconscious. Now, because of that, falling into intuitive basis, all beings fell into stupefied oblivion. It's something like you have fallen asleep, but not completely fallen asleep. You know a little bit about your own existence, but nothing beyond. That kind of state, we usually call it delusion. This pretty much is how we start our life. And unfortunately, for many people, that's how they end their life. For Buddhists, our practice, either for lay power, even for monks, is that we want to avoid dying that way. And there are clear instructions to avoid doing that. Confused, we start to feel panic. Our minds started jumping all over. Where am I? What am I doing? And gradually our minds start to sort things out. It was precisely at that moment you have sensed, now things are clear to me. Things are now in order. There's got to be something in control. That would be I. Once you have the I, you have mind. And you keep on doing this day to day, 24/7, you accumulated a strong habit. This is I, this is mine. I want to live. I want another life. That goes on samsara. So. Now the Buddha has been very reasonable. This current is so strong. If we ask you to reverse the current, that'll be superhuman. No, not gonna happen. What we ask us to do is essentially cross the stream safely. Once you have reached the other bank, you are safe. And even better, once you have get into the stream, taking proper measures, okay, walk safely, there's a guarantee you will get to the other bank. But the premises is that you have to follow the instruction correctly, right? So, you're facing with the stream, you have essentially 2 or 3 choices. First choice, not doing anything. Keep in mind, sota essentially means flood. What's going to happen? What's going to happen is standing in the flooding water. It's life-endangering. Okay? What if you push around? Really push hard forward. Quickly, you destabilize yourself. Okay? Again, also endanger your own life. So the safest way is that walk with proper attention to each of your motions. And that requires one, mindfulness. We've been talking about this repeatedly during the past hour. That requires training. The other solution would be you take the easy way. I just follow the current, wash down. And you see the picture, that's really self-evident. What's going to happen if you follow the stream down? You, even in this particular existing life, you might encounter very unpleasant things. Not to mention that at the end of your life, when you're experiencing another rebirth, you'll find out quickly you are in a very unpleasant destiny. The hell in the animal realm, something like that. So this is certainly not desirable. And we are here essentially, again, following the Pali canon. Those people who tell lies, those people who taken lives, who taking what is not given, sleeping with other people's wife. Okay, these are very serious type of conduct that may lead you into that particular destiny. But the sutra also cautions us. You might be saying, what if I just sitting, contemplating the sutra, contemplating the doctrine or the doctrinal teaching? I should be safe enough. The sutra said, not necessarily. If you did not understand the doctrine correctly, you will also fall into the bad destiny. Okay? So it's not so easy. Now, you may quickly notice among the 5 serious things, why have I missed the 5th? Not drinking. That brings up one interesting story I would like to introduce to you. Wine. In the Pali canon, there's a very interesting sutta, not often mentioned or elaborated by Theravada monks. It's from the Sarakahani, the Sakyam. I'm sure Professor Harao knows about it. This particular person also from the Sakyam tribe. Okay? It just so happened that when he died, as a routine, his co-practitioner asked the Buddha, where did he end up? The Buddha said, he's a street emperor. And this really generated an uproar, angry indignation among the monks. Why? He's been drinking. And quote unquote, this is the English translation, marvelous, well done. Now even a wine drinker can be a street emperor. That's how they complain to the Buddha. Okay? You may consider that disrespect, but the fact is fact. So, first, the thing, wine, was not perceived as a necessary bad thing in other cultures. As you can see, that's an oil painting. Christian monk, the really monk in the Western sense. They've been well known for being beer brewers, and because they beer brewers, on the one hand, because that while during their meditative retreat they cannot eat things, but they were allowed to drink beer as a liquid bread. And on the other hand, because they have to brew the beer, they have also introduced the sanitation procedures and discovered that water needs to be boiled to drink safely. So their contribution to the public health system in Western sense is really revolutionary. But while not glorifying this stuff, certainly as you can see, that's a Theravada monk in the Harvard University campus. As you can see, there's no way you can drink beer. But in this particular case, how about Coca-Cola? Now, those of you who have this sense, you will quickly identify in terms of the addictive nature and the negative effects on your health. Coca-Cola is not better than beer. Why is it then there's nobody bringing this up? And yet, we steadfastly, we stubbornly believe, not to mention monks, even the lay followers, if they drink alcoholic beverages, they cannot be street emperor. So now you have to know the story. Truly, you think you have the right idea? Now, even more outrageously, I say outrageous, it just incidentally in China, around 1148, that's the year when he was born. Those of you who came from the Chinese cultural era, you'll quickly recognize that. Qigong, a Buddhist monk. He was also well known of eating meat and drinking wine, but he was also well known for demonstrating supernatural powers in helping people. So, certainly you can argue these are two extreme examples, but you can say that's anomaly. Okay, 2 examples is sufficient to challenge your idea. When you say something as a one-size-fits-all, you can say stream enterers are not expected to conduct wine drinking, but it would be highly questionable for you to say that wine drinking will impede someone from acquiring the stream entering accomplishment. Listen carefully to what I said, okay? The arrow may or may not be reversible. You have to distinguish very carefully. So, let's look at what Buddha said. And this is very interesting, this quote. The Buddha himself states that one does not even have to have gained strong confidence in the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha to become a stream winner at the time of death. So what's the key? Allow me to hold the key. I'll give you the answer later on. Let me give you one more example. Is that a monk? You bet. A monk. What's he doing? Bartender? He's the owner of the bar. Japanese monk. And really, you will have to admit that's a good-looking dude. I say this with a good reason. The Japanese author Kusaido published a book in 2012 entitled Good-Looking Monks. He's one of them. And it just so happened that this good-looking monk, his name is Yoshinobu Fujioka. Okay? He and another monk own this particular place. What's their notion of starting this bar in the first place? It was really wholesome. They said that the Buddhist temple in the older generations, say during the last century, they were the community center where people social with each other and learn from each other. The temple now has lost that status and role. Being a monk, what can you do? You just sit around waiting for people to come to you? That's not what they're thinking. Instead, they want to reinvigorate the temple, but using modern ways. This is how they do it. Okay? Before they serve, usually cocktails. Some are really traditional good stuff. Okay? Before they serve the cocktail, they give sermon. Seriously, okay? Buddhist ritual. And they also name some of the cocktail like infinity dependent origination and really well received. Okay? So my point now, like I said, I am not here trying to qualify the idea of drinking and question that whether or not drinking may or may impede your accomplishment in getting over the stream. The idea is that when you apply, especially applying a Dharma or doctrinal idea onto yourself and onto others, be very careful. Okay? It may not be what you think. The crux of the issue, Buddha said, you don't have to have strong confidence in Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha. Then what's the crux of the issue? The crux of the issue is wisdom. Those of you who come from southeastern area, you recognize that tree, right?
Yes.
The salt tree. It has very strong religious importance, significance in Theravada Buddhism. That's where the Buddha was born, where he eventually ended Paranibbana. The Buddha himself declared, this is a direct quotation from that sutra. He said, if these great tall trees could distinguish what is well spoken from what is ill spoken, I would proclaim these great tall trees to be stream winners. The crux is not the object, but the wisdom. If the tree can have that wisdom, demonstrated wisdom, that you know what is Dhamma well spoken of and what is Dhamma ill spoken of. You have that wisdom, certainly I'll proclaim you as a stream winner. And the Buddha said, that's a tree. The wine drinking monk that you are accusing of, he has done much more, way better than that tree. He has finished training at the time of death. It's no question that he is a stream winner. So the crux of the issue is wisdom. After all, assuming you are also interested in getting across the current, what's your qualification? What you should be doing, cultivating your own qualification? The sutra, this is almost cliche. It says that you should cultivate the 5 faculties. Number 1, strong confidence. We don't say faith, although you may encounter English translations when they talk about the 5 faculties and 5 powers, they say the first one is faith. No. Here the faith is more in the conviction or confidence on yourself, because you have practiced properly, you have acknowledged, you have accomplished direct knowledge, therefore you have confidence. That's the first one. And then, because of this confidence, you will go on practicing properly, cultivating your mindfulness until you can achieve concentration, which lays the foundation of wisdom. What's the good of this wisdom? Next, it would at least enable you to give up the 3 fetters. If you can give up, abandon the 3 fetters, that would qualify you as a stream enter. What are the 3 fetters? Identity view. Identity view is I. Either you think this Namarupa is I, or any I is Namarupa, which is a delusion. You may find it hard to accept. Go on practice. Try it out. Okay, you don't have to believe me. Then, the wisdom, because you have been able to concentrate with mindfulness and achieving concentration, jhana, if you will. Therefore, you should be able to dispel all doubt about the possibility of getting nirvana, about the possibility of getting over across the stream. Because of this, you will also, this is even more important for lay followers. If you think that practicing certain ritual on a daily basis will get you liberation, think twice. That may or may not happen that way. It requires other commensurate conditions, okay? Which is also mentioned by Campbell. So, all these would enable you to become a stream enterer. Once you start the journey, the good news for you is that this is a stream of no return. It guarantees to carry you over to the destiny, which is Nibbana. Okay? So, into the stream, it leads up. Essentially, you take up the path, Magga. It leads to fruition. Okay? It contains several other different forms. Because of time limitations, I'm not going to elaborate on that. Okay? Essentially, you get what you pay for. The practices leading to stream entry in a different format. This is actual operationalized. Okay, the general idea is that you have to cultivate your faculty, but how do you actually go about doing it? There you go. First, making association with people of integrity, good companions. Ananda used to have one conversation with Buddha, and I really love this conversation, wherein Ananda said to the Buddha, I believe that having good companions is at least half of the holy practices. the Buddha corrected in Ananda. Having good companion is the entirety of wholesome practices, not just half of them. So it's very important. Making good associations. The monks certainly will be one good source of having that good companion. But in your daily life, whoever demonstrated the traits that without the unwholesome mental qualities, okay, would also constitute good companions. Number two, listening to the true Dharma. I've been spending over half an hour right now trying to point out that true Dharma requires your own evaluation. This also highlights the importance that you may be more interested in chanting, she may be more interested in meditation. All those alone will not suffice. You need to study, okay? Study the doctrine, understand it properly, okay? Then, appropriate attention is the factor of string entry. Appropriate, not too much, not too little. Yeah, earlier, the simile have indicated that if you're not doing enough, you get drowned. If you're pushing too hard, you get carried away. Okay? It must be just about right. And practice in accordance with the Dharma. I wouldn't dare to elaborate on that because the temple has spent 14 minutes precisely talking about that. So you get the idea. Time allows, so let me also give you a direct reference drawing from the Anguttara Nikaya. Not only did Buddha give you the direct operationalized instruction about where to start cultivating your own good quality, but it also indicates that in great detail, we started from having good companion. Who wanted good companion? Look, here are the measuring rod. Okay, let me just swiftly mention that. If someone concerning other people's bad points, something bad about you, if this particular someone being asked, he doesn't say much, okay? But when he was asked, he would express it in a very reserved manner. That would be first one, good quality. If concerning somebody else's good point, this person, even without being asked, would go on elaborate somebody else's good quality. And when being asked, he would go out in full, great detail without any reservations. That would be another good quality. But then when it comes to his own, say we all have some bad quality, okay? Maybe publicly known, maybe known only by ourselves. When it comes to this point, this particular person, without being asked, he exposes a bad quality. When being asked, he exposes it completely without reservation. That would be also good quality. That's not easy. Okay, it's easier said than done. So that would be enough as of now, because we don't have enough time to judge a good person, a good companion. Then this particular person may or may not give you a great Dharma talk, but then throughout your continuous companionship with him, the Buddha indicated very specifically, it takes long time, not short time, to have a true, genuine evaluation of someone's characteristic or integrity. How long? Usually 2 years. That's usually how it is practiced among Theravada monasteries. Okay? Without staying in monastery for 2 years, they wouldn't be able to have a genuine grasp about the organizational culture or the individual integrity. It takes some time. Once you have decided that this is a person of integrity, listen to the true Dharma they may have to say to you. That kind of true Dharma will be valuable at least in two senses. Number one, the opportunity to access true Dharma is so rare. Right now on this planet Earth, it is estimated that we can claim that there are 535 million people, 535 million people that practice Buddhism. At this particular moment, among those 535 million, how many are listening to Buddha? How many are listening and practicing and contemplating properly? You get the idea, okay? And the product really is beneficial, not only for future life, which you may or may not care, but it also brings up good changes in your current life. We have numerous, say, I'm from the U.S. Zen Institute. The temple has many practitioners who are interested in achieving jhana. We have also practitioners who are only interested in chanting sutra. They don't meditate. Each believe that they have the right idea solely doing that. Throughout the past 2 years, we have tried to get the idea to them that at least that get a fuller picture of Buddha's teaching. Buddha never said only meditation will get you what you want, only chanting will get you what you want. Try to change your mind quality first, being a good person. And people start to find out, hey, my wife is treating me better now. My daughter is starting talking to me. Okay? And my boss even smiles at me. Okay? We don't know whether there are other contributing factors, but one thing is for sure, your mind quality will quickly change your facial expression. Even if you didn't notice, your family, your friends will notice quickly. Okay? So the benefit is genuine. And then, appropriate attention. This is in particular referring to my training. If you ask me, and actually, I'm not making this up, I've been asked repeatedly by lay followers, especially English-speaking lay followers, can you summarize Buddhism in one word or one sentence, what it's all about? Well, I have to tell you, that's even tougher than my dissertation defense. Okay, you ask me summarize in one sentence the whole Pali Canon, but still we can try. For me, it's about mind transformation. Okay, you can go on elaborate how to go about doing that, but for me, it's about mind transformation, certainly toward a certain direction. Okay. Given other time, other opportunity, I'll elaborate on that, but not today. Right, so appropriate attention was precisely a very important operational procedure for you to know where your mind is at right now. And if it's not at what you intend to be, bring it back. Most often this happens in meditation procedure, okay? Here is a direct quotation from Samyutta Nikaya. Many of you are also familiar with the historical context of Samyutta Nikaya. This is where the Buddha, based on his understanding of the particular individual in front of him, gives sermons that were particularly helpful for one particular person or group. And in this particular sutra, there's a dialogue referring precisely how do I get across that river. So the dialogue goes like this. I cross over flood without pushing forward, without staying in place. But how, dear sir, did you cross over flood without pushing forward, without staying in place? Now, the concluding paragraph really requires you to think about it. When I pushed forward, I was whirled about. When I stayed in place, I sank. And so I crossed the river flood, or the flooding river, without pushing forward, without staying in place. What would constitute pushing forward too hard may vary from individual to individual, but you get the idea. The Buddha, from how I read the party canon, he rarely gives one-size-fits-all answers because it's inherently dangerous. What danger? It becomes dogma. In Buddhism, we have doctrine, but we do not have dogma. So try not to turn the doctrine into dogma. That requires your own contemplation. Finally, if you get the right idea with the help of meditation trying to transform your mind, what do you do afterward? Well, given that transformed mind, apply that to your everyday life. That would be truly, in my opinion, practice the Dhamma on a daily basis. And here, it was predominantly a prescription for monks, but I think it would be also helpful for lay followers. When monks, the noble disciple, understand as they really are the arising and the passing away, the attractiveness and the danger and the deliverance from the five fruits of cleaning is called the noble disciple, who is a strength and winner. Everything that comes to you, through your eyes, through your ears, through your nose, through your tongue, they have a taste, they have a flavor. Understand it correctly, how they affect you, and understand the peril of those flavors. Okay, do not attach to them. Once you understood the peril, try to abandon them without generating negative emotions. That would be my final advice to every one of you. Okay, that will conclude my presentation today. Thanks a lot.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Thank you, Bhante, for a wonderful presentation. You know, my maternal grandfather was the medical doctor to Bhante Buddharatita Thera, founded the Bangalore Mahabodhi Society. He used to always say, Doctor, 5 things you need to do. Buddha Vandana or Buddha Pujana. Sila Paripadana, the practice of ethics. That's how we got the 5 precepts that were requested after doing the Buddha Vandana. Then the third is Dhammadesana. We had 2 of them. Hearing the Buddha's talk. Bhante talked about the kind of little tussle between the meditationers and the chanters. Both are important. Sutta Vachana, chanting, and ultimately Jhana Achara, the practice of meditation. These 5 things must be there every day in the practice. Then it's a complete practice, doing all things. Hearing the sermon, worshipping the Buddha or venerating the Buddha, practicing morality in the scheme of things, the whole, then the chanting of the suttas, and ultimately the practice of meditation. As Khenpo so beautifully pointed out, and so did Bhante, mind is ultimately it. If we do not cleanse the mind, then everything is going to come to an halt. So I will not give a presentation, don't worry, because I will do that tomorrow, and I want to practice anatta, which means self-effacing, okay? And also, His Excellency has been kind enough to have us twice over. 3 to 5 means 3 to 5, not 3 to 5:30. Okay, so I want His Excellency to think, oh, these are the people who come at 3 and drag it on till 5:30. Next time we will not have them. So therefore, we would like to end at 5 with that. I will request His Excellency to come and offer remarks for the...
Before I give my remarks, there may be some people who are in the audience who wish to know more about what have been lectured. So please feel free. You can ask the questions to because tomorrow is a holiday and we do not have.
Thank you, Excellency. That's good time to as a Dhammasagacha.
Yeah.
Dhamma talk. Anybody had some?
This must be lively and it must be interactive.
Because Theravada Mahayana both here.
Yes, exactly. And what dream?
I have a question for the Venerable Saran. About the influence of the alcohol to the mind of a human being. I don't know the chemical reaction or how the alcohol influences the thinking process of a human brain, therefore a human mind. So if we allow or make less significance of the influence of the alcohol, some people might think, oh yes, I can do this once in a while, or I can do this just 1 cup, or maybe just a half can of beer.
Yeah. The FAA, they warn the heroin applier. Okay. With only 1 small cup of beer, your reaction, say when you are at height of 3,000 feet, but then adding that small cup of beer, your reaction will be like you are 10,000 more feet out there. On the ground, with that particular small cup of beer, say you are in your 30s, you quickly render your reaction like a 60-year-old. There's no doubt it will have very significant influence, and usually negatively, on the mind, on the body. Again, like I pointed out, and I know there will be people questioning this, okay? The whole point is not to glorifying or to downplay why is it that not drinking wine being listed in the number 5th precept. It has its due reason. But the question is that there are more people saying that just because you are drinking, there is no way you can achieve anything in the spiritual development. That would be equally wrong. Okay? So the whole point is this. I'm just trying to use that particular example. And also, if you read the Pali Canons very carefully, there's always, in sequence, mention about not taking lies, not telling lies. Okay? But rarely, drinking also mentioned. No, there were occasions, certainly, but most predominantly not taking lies, not taking what is not given, not telling lies. Occasionally, when the context is right, the idea of not drinking something that will affect the intellect also being brought up. There is a good reason of that. Okay? So again, my point is that I'm not, on one hand, like I said, try to make this presentation a little bit more refreshing, okay? Let's bring up some contentious points. On the other hand, that it is true. I have heard it in the first-hand experience. There are Westerners saying simply because the number 5th precept disallow wine drinking, I will give up. I would not want to be a Buddhist. This is a very wise person, well-educated, with a kind heart. But because of that, it hinders him from even touch upon the practice of Buddhism, which I believe is an unnecessary loss. Go on, allow them to do that. In time, they will give up. You remember earlier I said, we know that when somebody has accomplished the breakthrough, the spiritual breakthrough of being a stream enter, there is no way for this person to really fund of drinking. That particular monk, that's an exception. We don't know the original historical context. How did it happen? How heavy he was in terms of drinking. It's just one exception. But normally, since we're not there, okay, we can expect this is not an encouraged path, but simply because of that, we cannot legitimately say that this would hinder everything. No, there's still the way, even if you bring it. Start with less, eventually give it up.
I'm associated with the Catholics so much. Every year I have an invitation to the Vatican embassy, and you went there, have a big party, and the priest drink a whole lot. Not only wine, but hard alcohol, you know. And I asked, why do you drink so much? Oh, that shows that's the blood of Christ. You know, it's not really wine, but alcohol. And it's not in their commandment. You see, the 10 Commandments, first 5 are dedicated to God, the last 5 that they dedicate to the living. You know, the 6th commandment, thou shalt not kill, the 7th commandment, thou shalt not steal, and 4th, you know, thou not make false speech, and the last one, you know, equivalent to our 5 precepts, the last one, we say, do not take alcohol or any substance that work with mind. And the 10 Commandments, they say, honor the parents, you see. So they're not in their commandment. Where as a Buddhist, we have that in our 5th precept. When you take alcohol, you're no longer a human being.
Yes.
You become a wild animal because your mind already works. You're not a normal person. You're not a wholesome person. That's why we avoid that. Now, I ask my monk, can I drink a little? He said, no, because once you start a little, you start more and more, and later become alcoholic.
Yes.
Yeah, so don't start.
Exactly, don't start.
Catholic, they drink the wine because that is their income. Chinese drink tea because monastery income is tea. Really, Catholic, they make lots of wine in the really expensive wine is in the monastery. But I think show the two pictures. One is a monk not allowed to drink, and another one is a Chinese monk. He was a really famous monk, Qigong, and a great monk. I can say lots of people use alcohol. I don't use alcohol, I use a toxic. Whatever toxic in you, it use your ability. Whatever losing your ability, you shouldn't drink that one. You shouldn't use that one because you're no longer yourself. So it doesn't matter you alcohol or, but this kind of label, when you get to the certain label, you can control your mind no matter what you do. So this is why I want to speak this one is because at some point in the Vajrayana, you're allowed to drink alcohol. You may see that one, some point, not for the monk. Lay Vajrayana practitioner allowed to drink. But clearly said in the Vajrayana, if you drink alcohol, it's good for bringing your strength. But if you get drunk, you will be reborn in hell. So it means you're allowed to drink, but you cannot get drunk. In the Sutra said you don't drink because it gets drunk. In the Vajrayana said drink but don't get drunk. It means once you can control your mind, then you can control your element. So it doesn't matter you drink water or you drink wine, it's the same taste. Because nothing going to infect you, not going to toxic in you. So most important is a toxic. In Tibetan we have one story. One woman took one jar, one goat, and herself went to monk. You have 3 choices. Sleep with me, or kill the goat, or drink wine. And monk thought maybe easier is less negative is drinking wine. So he drink the wine, he get drunk, he sleep with her, he killed the goat. So toxic causes problem. That reason said don't drink the toxic. But if you can control yourself, this is not control as a one, because from 1 to 10 is easy. Wine is the same as a salty water. More you drink, more you want. Other water, if you drink, when your stomach is full, you don't want anymore. But salty water, more you drink, you become more thirsty. Same is alcohol. So that reason, once you start one pack, from the one peg to become 10 peg is easy. So that reason Buddha said, even the dip of water on the grass, wine, don't drink. Because you lose your ability. That reason I think Buddhism will not allow to drink the wine. But you may see sometime in the Tibetan Buddhism ritual, you may see the alcohol. But those are really the only person who are capable to drink that one. You know, there's one story saying so one monk drink 500 gallons of alcohol one day, still didn't get drunk. So if you're capable of that one, you can do anything. Because it's as mentioned here, if you drink, you not get to the streamer. The reason is you losing your ability, you losing your mindfulness, then you lose yourself. So that reason you're not allowed to drink. But you are already reached there, and you can control yourself. You have one tasteness over no matter what they are, then you can do whatever you want. Because you're not going to lose your ability. That is what I think, we always say that way. That way, I never use as alcohol on that occasion. I always use as a toxic. Because nowadays there's a lot of drugs. Yeah, and those drugs not alcohol, but it make you really drunk and you lose your ability.
Adding to that, there's also a very interesting example, the kind a Kumarajiva, well-respected translator in the Chinese Buddhist history. He was forced to get married, having 3 children. After that, he was forced to marry another 10 prostitutes. A lot of his followers mocked, saying, okay, you can do that, so we'll do the same. So he invited all over, okay, great assembly, and put himself in front of him a bowl of what? Needles, metal needles, swallow it just like any food. And said, if you can do that, you can marry the prostitutes. If you cannot do that, stop bothering me, okay? So, it's, like I said, one particular example is not to, okay, downplay the whole highlighted importance, but on an equal term, we cannot, on this particular one reason, okay, block the entire possibility for some other people who wishes to approach this gradually. Once they have that kind of mind quality, it's no longer a concern. But initially, why blocking them? Same thing with Buddha's initial reaction about why not enforcing vegetarian dietary code among Sangha. Why unnecessarily, unduly blocking so many people out of the practice? Give them some opportunity. In time, they will change.
I had a question with the principal. When in your talk, you say, you don't like one place, you move to another place. I don't think this is a good idea. You know, the history of life. Yeah.
Example. Location you don't like, you can change. Because of you can avoid from that. But you cannot change your mind by avoiding like that. That's an example.
Right.
I'm saying it's physically, you can distance. If you don't like something, you know, you can distance. But with your mind, you cannot do that one. Like, if you don't like, you can just leave. Okay? But you cannot leave your the angry or whatever upsetness here. It go with you. That's what I mean.
No,
It's just a symbolize.
In the Buddha life, you know, Buddha went to Bantabad and some place they always throw the stone, you know, because this process, you know, she get all the people that throw stone at Buddha, and another said, we cannot come to this place, we have to move to another place. And Buddha
No, I'm saying just as example. Mine is an example, not really physically. This is what I'm saying is
Yes.
like Buddha, when he come back home, his wife came, said, how could you do? Make me widow? My child is a fatherless. You know, how could you do that one? And Buddha said, make you widow was Siddhartha. Your father took away responsibility of being father was Siddhartha. I'm not Siddhartha, I'm Buddha. That is what I mean. So
I like to say something different now. We have been coming to the Burmese embassy,
Yes.
and every time there's substantial number of people here.
Yes.
That's very good. And it made me think of my visit to India.
Yes.
When I visited one place, there was one Burmese, and eventually he became monk, right? He was the one who was pioneer on recovering the path of the Buddha in India. And I forgot what his name was.
Uba King.
Uba King. Uba King is a very famous
Must be,
meditation master.
Yeah, he has a temple there too.
Yes. Uba King's disciple is a very famous Indian meditation master known as Syaji U Goenka.
So we should be grateful to that very much.
Any other questions for the venerables?
Any other questions? Please speak.
I have a burning question in my mind, and please forgive me if it's not the right question to ask. We were talking about mindfulness and getting, drinking intoxicating drinks. So the 5 precepts, in the 5 precepts, we always say we abstain from taking intoxicating drinks. It's not just drinks, right? Intoxicating substances as well, as we understand these days. So what about when you're in pain and dying? A lot of my friends say, hey, how did your father pass away? Oh, he passed away peacefully because the doctor administered morphine. Is that the right way to die? I'm not sure about that.
Let's consider it from 2 dimensions. First, there is good medical, physical reason of giving morphine, because otherwise he would have been in even greater pain.
Excruciating pain, yes.
My answer to that would be, if the patient has been a good practitioner, he knows his own mind quality, he has the right practice of controlling, regulating his mind, then do not use the morphine. That would mess up things.
That is what I was thinking.
Yeah.
You can practice hard, meditate hard, and the pain can subside. Maybe not altogether, right? But subside. So it's not good to take those intoxicating, what shall I say, substances or influences.
last night I was talking to the one Filipino lady. She is a hospice nurse, and she was talking about that, giving medicine and this and that. And I told her, if that person is the same as if that person is a practitioner, shouldn't be disturbed by the doctor or anything, let peacefully death, because it's a process, death process, their practice involved. If that person is not really a practitioner, then just make comfortable. Yeah, most comfortable is important. If that is even include the toxicants medication, that's making it comfortable. Because if you not really have something to prepare for the death, then you don't need to put too much stress on that. If you have something that you can prepare your death and you can use at the time of the death, including the second sense as we call the meditation, then shouldn't involve. I always recommend to people who practitioner never die in the hospital, because doctor never let you meditate through the process of translation. So this is not really a good place to deserve your dissolution of the dying. So I think it's best on the personal.
Yeah, I agree with the Reverend Campo's idea, and giving the medicine or any kind of liquid or kind of things to the pain relief, but we know about the Buddhism, death meditation or pain, about meditation about the pain, that also one of the four foundation of mindfulness. And let him or the person to get experience with the awakened mind to final stage to sleep, rather than someone trying to reduce the pain giving the drugs. That is not the right thing, my opinion. According to Theravada tradition, everybody love their life, but still we have to get that experience and death, and he may know he's leaving, he can say bye-bye to us. He can cut off all that thing, and with the mindfully, he can left us. That's good for him the next birth. So this is rather than giving any alcohol or drugs for the doctors really for the pain.
So I told my kids never to give me morphine when I'm dying, if I'm ever dying.
You can request.
Thank you.
Although if you're not, the Vinaya allows alcohol as a basis for medicine in terms of illness. So I think there is a difference between palliative care.
Don't give bad idea.
No, just kidding. So there's a difference between the moment of death and then caring for a pain. So if you lost your leg in an accident, it seems in terms of Vinaya, then this is a case that, and commentaries on fifth precept, that it would be allowed because in this case you're not altering your consciousness at the moment of death, but merely dealing with the pain for a medical procedure. So there's also a difference.
This is a short
Right.
version, to overcome while they are performing the operation,
Right.
surgery.
Yeah.
But it's a short term. But what I'm focusing is when you're about to die, do you want to go mindless or mindful? And
Right,
that's
yeah,
what
no,
I
that-
want to make it clear. It's just my burning question in my mind. Thank you.
And
If I
during
may.
Buddha time, he got sick too, and he took the medicine. He was treated by the doctor too. I forgot the name of the doctor.
Jiva.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, the doctor gave him the medicine. So what kind of medicine?
Is it morphine or is it?
That time I'm not sure, but.
Ayurvedic.
If I may,
Invite the
Two
ambassador to make.
more questions?
just one little add to that, because
All right.
right now
Go
in
ahead.
Thailand, it's becoming very popular. The practice of Paguna Sutra, right? I have shown the video on that. When people, before they are about to die, if they get to listen to the sutra of the Buddha, anyone, whether it's Paticcasamuppada or anything like that.
Satipatthana Sutta.
Right. And there's a magic to that. Number one, after the death, the body of the person remain not shine, but clear.
Yes.
Yeah. And it is said also that the person would get would achieve the lowest what is it? Yeah. That means the chance of going to the lower realm is avoided. Yeah. So it's people are showing the video. They took picture of their dead relative because they have practiced this what is called the Puttavachana in Thailand by venerable
Right?
yeah. So just to make you feel that there is a way to relieve this suffering. Right. Paguna Sutra is
All right. Well, first of all, I would like to say thank you to IBAA leadership and associates and all the members who are present today. Venerable Searos, thank you very much for facing this event. We are thankful to you, and also we are highly privileged, and also we feel delighted to host this kind of event in our embassy, because we feel that our embassy is blessed by hosting such kind of event. And also, this is a very timely that we are having this event today, as it will be all the people around the world who are Buddhists will be celebrating the Vesak Day very soon. Vesak Day is most significant day in the Buddhist calendar, where the Lord Buddha, the birth of Lord Buddha, his enlightenment and his nirvana. This is a very significant day for all of us. And also, it is very timely that we are having this event at a time where there are many violences and miseries in the world. It is only through the teaching of Buddhism and also other religions that can make the world peace and in harmony. I truly believe in this, the value of religion, teachings of different religions. And for us, I am a born Buddhist, but there are many things that we still need to learn. As a young boy, when we become novice, we observe the 10 precepts. On daily basis, whenever there is a religious event, we observe the 5 precepts. But this is not enough. We have to learn more about things that are around us. For instance, what we have learned from the two Sayadaws, two venerable monks, today are very, very enlightening. Because there are many things that we have missed in our daily lives that are so close to us, but we ignore them, we avoid them, and we abandon them. So these are the things that you have reminded us. For instance, to be mindful, the mindfulness and also the wisdom that we have to encounter, we have to practice, we have to be aware of in our daily life, and also our paths towards nirvana. This is very important. These things will be regarded as simple things, but they are most important things in our life, I believe. And also today in the United Nations in New York, the countries are celebrating the Vesak Day. And also in the United Nations, Vesak Day has been endorsed by the General Assembly in 1999, and this is the 16th year of United Nations celebrating the Vesak Day. And the International United Nations Vesak Day was commemorated recently in Vietnam, where many countries attended. One of the leaders who attended was the President of Myanmar, and he made a opening remarks, and also in his speech he mentioned about the importance of teaching of Buddha, the propagating of loving kindness, metta, to the world to promote peace and harmony. And also he mentioned about the tradition of Buddhism in our country that dates back to 2nd century AD. So these are the things that we are celebrating. We have been celebrating, and also we are honoring, we are appreciating. And also I am very delighted. One more thing is that yesterday the United States Secretary of State made a statement to commemorate the Vesak Day in the world. He mentioned the contribution of the American Buddhists, the Buddhist Americans in the American society, making the country strong, and also the contribution of Buddhism that has enriched the world's culture and the history. This is what the Secretary of State has mentioned in his statement on the Vesak Day. We are very happy and we are very proud of it. And I think this kind of events should be maintained and promoted in the coming days, and also continued not only in the embassies, in the missions of the Buddhist missions, but also to other missions who have shown interest to Buddhism and the teaching of Buddha. I thank all of you for your presence today and look forward to seeing you again the future. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Sadhu,
Before the blessing of the Mahasangha to His Excellency, I will request our General Secretary to do the vote of thanks on behalf of IBAA.
Last night, there is the fight in the embassy.
අභිවාදන සීලිස නිච්ඡං වද්ධාපචායිනෝ චත්තාරෝ ධම්මා වඩ්ඩන්ති ආයු වන්නෝ සුඛං බලං.
Again, just want to repeat the gratitude toward the IBAA and the Buddhism on behalf of our chairman, which is His Excellency just mentioned that there's the visa celebration that's happening in Vietnam. Our chairman of the board, Venerable Kanat Intisan, which is right now is in Vietnam. I think he's back to Thailand right now.
Yes.
Yeah. And our president, Mrs. Wang Modixi, so thankful for your generosity and allowing us to have a chance to listen to the wonderful, so refreshing Dhamma talk today. And also thank you to the embassy staff for the warm welcome and with all of this to facilitate this very refreshing event. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
We will have a concluding chant from Theravada.
Bhavatu sabba mangalam rakkhantu sabba devata sabba buddhanu sada sotti bhavantu te bhavatu sabba mangalam rakkhantu sabba devata sabba dhammanu bhavena sada sotti bhavantu te bhavatu Mangalang rakkhantu sabba devata sabba sanghanubhavena sada sotti bhavantu te. Dada konde dan jeje do zondo zabada jebe jebe zawande bada zenje dan jenyo do moname yanda ba zobe janjo rambo je do vajo je janjo semjo rambo manje
Last, we have a group photo.